When most people try to learn a new skill or pick up a habit, they often fail because they're doing many different things at the same time, and they end up getting too distracted to be able to focus on the one thing they actually want to do, right? And most of the time it can be deducted to daily life kind of actions, right? Maybe something comes up, they get busy, they forget to do it, and they either forget to learn the skill or build a habit, right? And this could apply to anything. Whatever problems you have, whatever issues you're trying to solve, it all goes to the same place, and it goes down to how you learn things. Most people learn things slow because of this, and they don't actually end up gaining any more knowledge, and instead just kind of sit there in thought paralysis and never take any action. So today I want to cover a potential solution to this and what it can do for you as the person trying to learn something new. The reason why I know this is because I've dealt with this before. I've tried solving problems that I can't do, and I try to learn a new skill, and if I'm getting distracted or if I have multiple things to focus on, I never actually get to learn it, right? Which that philosophy can also apply to something as simple as like school, right? Whenever you're in school, yeah, you are learning multiple things, but oftentimes you're learning one thing for a certain amount of time, and then it switches to the next thing. And it gives your brain enough time that you're able to actually learn the skill and potentially apply it. Now, I'm not saying you should try to teach yourself like school does, because for most people it actually doesn't work. What I am saying is that the ability to focus on a singular thing for a certain period of time is what allows you to learn any new habits or skills that you can adapt into your life. And with that being said, I want to begin to show you how to get into that kind of state where you're focusing on one thing and you're able to learn that thing for yourself. Because while it's one thing when you're forced into a school and you're forced to sit down, you're forced to listen, it's different when you're going about it from your own willpower, your own consciousness, and your decision. So let's say you want to learn basketball, right? In order to learn basketball, you need to obviously set a certain amount of time each day to go and do that. The most important thing, however, is that while you're doing the activity or whatever you're doing, you have to be solely focused on a certain aspect of that activity, right? So maybe this is why sports are great, because it allows you to teach and adjust it in your own way psychologically, right? Building off of that, now if you want to go into like a career skill, like let's say you're interested in finance, right? Well, in order to know how to do finance, there's a couple of basic skills you probably want to learn. Like one example, Excel. You probably want to learn how to use Excel so that way you can create numerous different things, so you can do more with the statistics that you get in finance, right? Another thing you might want to learn is how to read financial statements, right? You know, learning acronyms like CFM, ROA, stuff like that, or CPM, sorry. And just other random acronyms like that. It'll help you along the way when you come across it in, you know, whatever paper you're listening to, and if something doesn't make sense, you can go off of that, right? So a lot of people, they'll never do that. They'll never even think of that. And they'll just end up going, oh, well, I want to put this into my life. And then they do it every once in a while, but then they give up on it because, honestly, they forget about it. They have something else that comes up. They, you know, maybe an emergency happens and they forget about it. You know, sometimes it's okay, because sometimes life just throws things at you that you cannot deal with while trying to learn a skill anyways. But for the times that are normal, most people don't take that credibility or that action on themselves to learn that skill. So set away a time and take a certain block of your life and say, in this moment, for however much time it is, I'm going to learn this new skill by practicing a singular aspect of it until I get good at it, and then moving on to the next, right? That's how people become good at anything. They break down the core part of what they're doing in individual parts, right? Like maybe you're trying to become a public speaker. Okay, well, speech, right? How do you speak? How do you convey your ideas? What words are better for doing so than others? Those types of things are all individual skills which somebody can learn and practice over time. Now, that's about it. I mean, it doesn't get much more complicated than that, or really more simple, because essentially at the end of the day, as long as you're practicing the skill and you have a conscious, desirable outcome in your mind, you'll eventually become better at the skill and you'll learn it as well. And for extra help, you can look and listen to other people who have struggled with this before and find their solutions to it, which maybe you can apply better to your life, or worse, and then you learn that way too, right? Don't forget, you also learn from mistakes. That's honestly how most learning is done. So, with that being said, I have not much more to say. So if you've watched all the way through, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And if you could like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, that'd be very appreciated. And that will be it for me. Have a good day.